In this episode, we discuss narrative is the new brand, or is that just something Roy put on a picture on his Facebook? We'll see.
We also talk about
Child stars on cocaine and other things like that.
We also talk about how to bring an urban beer to new locations and how to launch it in new areas. And we also kind of talk about the dark future of social media, I think.
And then we go back to cocaine. Hi, this is Jonathan Kahn and Roy Provarchik, and you're listening to Strike Gold. That's right, we have a name.
It's a beautiful name. It's a beautiful baby name.
It's a beautiful available domain.
It's a beautiful domain. Yes. This is only the second episode. People are asking, hey, what are they talking about? Why am I listening to this podcast of this weird, obviously American and obviously Israeli friends?
Let's start with the fact that my voice is just very soothing. So it's nice to listen to in the morning when you're just having that cup of coffee and starting off your day.
I love it how, this is not Israeli at all. Nobody, in Israel, you basically, you get up, you're stressed about something, you get to work.
Yeah, that's it. And then maybe someone makes you coffee. Actually, I want to start off by saying that this is hopefully going to be the last time we record in a very, ghetto situation.
Can we say ghetto?
Yeah, you can say ghetto. There's Jewish ghettos. I think we're good.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good.
I mean, we might have even invented ghetto. I don't want to overstep, but it could be.
Another Israeli mastermind.
Yeah, there we go.
This is how neo-Nazis websites kind of get their materials.
They're like the Jews started ghettos.
It's like there you go, two Jews talking about
ghettos.
So if this is the first time you're listening to us, which makes sense if you missed only one episode. So
go back to the first one. What are you doing listening from episode 2?
Yeah, so this is as Jonathan said, Jonathan and Roy, and this is a marketing podcast. We give advice to other marketers asking for marketing advice. We jab a little bit about clients and challenges we tackle on daily basis with clients, and then we come to either brag or complain on the podcast.
It's not true. We just talk the way we would talk anyways. Just record it and let you people hear.
Yeah, because
you adorable, good-looking people, you.
So I was looking at the audience for the first podcast, and statistically, by the way, people who listened to the podcast were much better looking than the people who weren't.
Even smarter. Smart people listen to the podcast. Actually, I can't say that because my little brother listened, and he's just... I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
He's not. The first thing he said to me today was dude, I thought we were reaching smart people, and then my brother came in, and we have to stop doing the podcast now. And it took me 30 minutes to basically calm down and say, listen, the fact that your brother is listening doesn't mean we have to stop doing it.
I actually said we need to start using bigger words, and I think that you would concur indubitably.
Anyway, so as Jonathan said, this is the last episode we're going to get a crappy audio on. So we're sorry for the audio being so bad. But next week, we're moving...
It's a surprise. There's a surprise next week. All right, we're going to leave it at that. Now I want to attack you.
Okay.
All right, because I literally called my brother about this and I was laughing really bad because you posted this thing to your Facebook that said, narrative is the new branding.
It's deep. It's deep and meaningful.
And the first thing I said to my brother, I said that to my brother, I was like, listen, there's another thing that just came out. It's top news. Black is the new black. And it was what is this narrative is the new branding? It's always been branding. And then the reason that I said that was because it seems like people are forgetting what branding actually is. And it's not this
Nobody knows
one-off
what
thing.
branding is.
Yeah, no one really gets what it is. I mean, especially here in Israel. But generally, I might have muffled that. But the idea is that people kind of think that branding and all this creative and all these other things are only just a one shot. You just take it, you just go, take your pill, you're good to go, take your medicine, everything will be fine. And it's actually an ongoing thing. Branding is kind of this living organism. So of course it has a narrative. It's like saying bringing a baby to the world and the stories that and the accomplishments of that baby is not important. It's the actual name you gave it.
But that's not what I meant by saying the narrative is the new branding at all. this if you would talk to me about what
No, I was just saying it's important that we let this out in front of the podcast.
Okay, no.
People don't understand you, Roy.
Well, narratives, the new branding, was actually coming from the idea of like when you work with a brand or company or tech company or whatever, and they think about their branding, and then they think about their marketing. It's very hard for them to combine them or understand how one affects the other. And what I was actually talking about, narrative is the new branding, was that in the past, or still old companies or traditional media not getting it companies, it's basically when most companies take their branding or they want to do like a branding thing, they do small campaigns. They do like a branding campaign, and they do it like with pulses, right? So you have like a few ads, a few whatever. But when you go into marketing in 2018, where you have to create something that goes on through your social media channels, through your email, through your website, through everything you actually do, how your brand behaves, right? Everything is part of the branding. So by saying that it's a new narrative, because I think the brand now is not about, it's more than just, it's actually how you behave, it's how you tell your entire story. But now it actually became like it's a day-to-day thing. What you do every day with your brand is what kind of builds your branding. So when you try and go back and think about, hey, I'm a brand that is X, Y, and Z. What should I do on social media? What's my strategy? I don't know how to find like my social media strategy. I don't know what to create content about. Then you would go and say, hey, like go back to your brand and like your narrative of what you do day to day. It's just a reflection of what your brand is. And you translate your brand as your brand guidebook, whatever, values, beliefs,
your mission statement.
Your mission statement, yeah. And you have to ask yourself, how do I put this into play into everything I do? So for me, for example, I had this, the example that I gave in that post, if you read the whole thing.
No, I don't read. I just look at images.
So I was guessing. So we were debating the strategy for Stardom and what we should do on social media, especially because like my brand and Stardom is like so close to it. And we're talking about like the newsletter and what content should we put out. And I was thinking about, okay, in Stardom, there's only like one guiding value as a company. I want to help startups grow in terms of active users. I want to do whatever it takes to help them reach that next level. So when I was thinking about, and when I started to take this from a brand standpoint or a brand promise, and I want to put into everything the narrative of how we work, and I say, okay, so we don't have a newsletter. You can sign up to like the growth toolbox thing, and you get every week or every month, whatever, you get an email with resources on how you can grow your startup. And understanding the narrative is everything I do has to answer this simple question: did it help that company grow or not? And once you understand that this is your narrative, I want to help you grow, all your social media efforts become very clear, because you go to Twitter and say, what would be the best way to use Twitter to help a different company, to help other companies grow? And then you can go into the content we curate would be actionable towards startups, blah, blah, blah. But you can also go into like Twitter chats, and you would say, okay, wait, we can have a Twitter chat which actually people ask me questions about their brand or their company, and we're going to answer that. We can do IGN, the IGTV. Mm-hmm. IGN is like the gaming thing. We can do like the IGTV thing, and like basically every 2 days do a 5 to 10 minutes tip going deep into how to grow your Pinterest account, how to get more Twitter followers, whatever, how to look at your SaaS metrics from month to month. But everything we do is basically, I want to help startups grow. How do you translate it into different channels? But the main promise, and then that's your narrative. And the narrative is like what am I going to talk about every day? And that's the new branding, like what you do every day. The story that you actually tell now, that's your branding. Right, so it's not very different than what branding actually is.
No, I have two things. So I think that on one side, branding for most of the companies that I'm meeting, they just think it's
like a one-stop thing.
They think it's a brand book. They don't think that branding is anything else. They don't think most of these people don't have a vision or mission statement. And if you read them, some like Nikes and stuff like that, it's unbelievably like fantastic. It's like it's complex and it goes backwards and forwards. It's like super, super smart. And they don't think that's part of branding. They think branding is making a style and continuing it forward. And the other thing, like I also think, is that in somewhere what you said about Stardom, I think that there's something small missing, which I would suggest, which is that your narrative is not based on what you do. Your narrative is based on what people perceive that you're doing and find value in. So it's like
I'm thinking about what you're saying. Okay,
just think about it, because the way that I see it is, if you have people that you're helping and you're creating growth,
let's stop this podcast now. Let's tear apart this partnership. This was the last episode.
I'm just saying, like the idea is, in the end, you might say we create growth, right? They might see it in a different sentence. They might find it in a different way. You make it easy for us to create growth, or let's say, for example, Wix.
I'm talking this from a value standpoint, not a copywriting thing.
No. It's not about that. That's exactly it. I'm not talking about copywriting ever, because I'm dyslexic. So I'm literally, God help me, with anything that has to do with copywriting. But my thing is that the messaging of what you're speaking about, the thing that's going to actually hit the right people to actually bring you more users, will be whatever they perceive to be the values that you're
obviously
creating.
But I'm going to tweak. So I'm going to start with.
Like, I'm just saying, like, Wix's line is, what is it? Create your stunning website today. It's easy and free. That's my commercial voice. And they put a lot of focus on going off for, like, it's easy. It's that easy. Because they saw that a lot of their customers were so happy with the fact of how easy it was. They weren't talking about the beautiful part. They were talking about the easy part. So then they put a lot of focus that when the Super Bowls and all these other things, hashtag it's that easy or whatever it was. And now they shifted. But the idea was that they knew what their sales proposition was on their standpoint, which is that it's going to be easy to create beautiful websites. But then they separated it because they realized that most people were focusing on the easy, and they wanted the easy and wanted.
Yeah, but it's two different things. I'll explain why. You start with something and you iterate based on the conversation you have with the world. And the reason I'm saying, by the way, narrative is the new branding, because narrative is more conversational than branding as a term. And
it's more human.
It's more human, and it's more otherwise. It's like more storytelling. It's more relationship building. The narrative. It's more.
I think if you look at it like this, companies like my dad actually gave this to me as an example when I was a little kid, which is gas stations. He was trying to show me the gas stations in America. He was like, we go to this gas station rather than this gas station, and why? The gas is now different. And he goes, because their branding has a continuous flow, so their commercials all have the same kind of standpoints and all this stuff. This is like great. It's funny to have like raised on marketing as a child, but that's what we were.
Well, I imagine the movie about you as an adult doing like this a very specific scene in your life, and during that scene you remember bits of you as a kid with your father.
Yeah, just horrific.
No,
I want you to create a presentation pitching to me why we need to go.
No, I imagine you going to like the movie would be you going to like the most important meeting of your life. And you would go, and every once in a while you get you start doing the presentation, and you get a little flash from what you taught, what your father taught you, and
a lot of these things kind of.
Corey Feldman would be you as a kid.
I do this to my kid all the time. My dad once said this to me. He was like, "Do you know that if you visualize in your head going to the baseball plate, holding the baseball bat, feeling it in your hand, watching the ball come to you and hitting it, and you visualize that over and over and over, it's equal." Or even better in some situations to actually going and practicing. Now, I didn't know if that was true or not, but it was something that stuck with me. And then for years later on, it stuck with me. And all of a sudden I saw research that kind of showed that it's true. And that if you use your imagination enough, you can actually prepare yourself for pretty much anything. So I do that shit with my kids all the time. Like, find some new research, and I let them know like the last part of it. And they're like, Dad, why are you telling me this? I'm like, now the seed has been seeded or planted, Like, it's in there. 10, 15 years down the line, you find the cure for cancer with what I just gave you, son. Okay, so the gas station, what I was saying about the gas station is, like, that was, like, very true, and it reigned true everywhere that gas station, that branding went. It continues to have the same feel, the same messaging and everything. That's great. But what happened is that everything now is so fast, and it's all over the place. There's so much media, so much stuff to look at. There's all this stuff going on all the time, and we're looking at it all the time also, that it's just not. It would look like it's dormant. It would look like it's just standing there. It wouldn't look like it's doing anything.
It's not going to be native.
No, it just would not look like it's moving compared to how much other things are moving. And I'm not talking about other brands. I'm talking about people and Instagram videos and stuff like that. So now for normal brands to be able to catch up, they have to have a consistency that can only be relatable as human conversation. As someone who's constantly talking to you and trying to find ways to express
but I think it's even more, because it's that multiplied by format, multiplied by channel, and you have to go native per channel with what you do. So
actually, that's why you would probably suggest to most people is focus on one channel,
right?
Stick with it, get it right. That's it.
Yeah. So I just think like the thing about the narrative is that it's like. And we start on what you said. You start with one thing. You're saying, this is the best value I can give back to the world. This is what I think people want from me. or this is what I believe in as a company. You start doing it, you get reactions from the world, and you adjust yourself.
That's important because a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, and for me, that's a big difference with like, what's my branding and what's my narrative. Your narrative can evolve over time. Your branding has to go through rebranding. So narrative can evolve, and like we can change the conversation as we go. Branding is like every once in a while you rebrand. And for me, like branding is going back to the values, the story, the whole thing. Narrative is about going forward and communicating that brand. So I think in this day and age, like the branding, I do believe it's kind of a milestone, but then you have to kind of take this into the world, and that's like the narrative. And when I say narrative is the new branding, because the story that you tell is the branding that you create. And now it's just like more story oriented than just like messages or my messaging is. It's what it's actually how you behave from day to day.
Okay, so I'm less angry than you with that post. Now.
Okay, now I want to ask you a question. It's gonna be a tough one.
Okay.
Do you want to answer some questions because we have some cool questions?
Okay, so let's go.
From the audience.
The questions.
So this is the part, like because this is the second episode, I'm introducing parts, like a theater thing.
Oh, okay. So we should probably have some musical thing right here. Boom.
Thank you so much for joining us back. No, we didn't do an edit.
Oh shit! There's no
fuck.
audio. God damn it!
So this is the like because it's like only the second episode, so there's not like this is where we do. So every episode we're gonna try and answer like at least one or two kind of marketing questions we get either from clients or from people all over the web.
I want to get some people interviewed on our thing.
It's gonna happen soon. I have somebody cool to bring in as well. But
I actually have this guy who I really want to interview.
Maybe it's the same guy.
No, there's no way. My guy's from Madrid. He's incredible. And I think he'll do it too. All right.
Oh my god.
That's enough.
Enough.
Ignore that. Ignore that.
Enough with you trying to talk me into your man on man action. That's it for this episode.
Come with me to Madrid. No,
like, let's run away together.
Let's just do this.
Nobody would care. Like literally nobody.
My wife would actually be like, "Oh, thank God, this is a vacation."
Yeah, it's like the house is so much calmer now. Anyway, so you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so there were actually two questions I was thinking that might be interesting. So one, I can't disclose the name because it's like legal issues, but it's a company that I worked with for a little bit. I gave a talk there recently. It's a
don't give any more information. People are just going to use Google.
No, it's not there. Like the story is it got deleted 24 hours later.
Oh, okay,
it's like a big beverage brand in Israel. And they were actually asking about a beer that they want to get from Center Israel, which is very popular here, to be popular at other locations as well, very urban. And they were basically asking, what would you do? What would be your strategy, or how would you approach this challenge of getting the beer into other cities in Israel? That's one. And the second one is about like how do you create kind of viral content? Like how would you approach into like how do you create viral content? Now, I think we'll try to answer both. I'm not sure we have the time, but we might just do the viral one like next episode, or because I actually kind of like the beer question.
All right.
Because we're actually drinking beer right now.
That's true.
So that resonates with me. Next time we're going to drink something viral, and then
is this the beer company?
No, we're not drinking that beer.
No offense.
I just didn't want it to leak into the podcast and people know what beer we're talking about.
People hack my camera all the time.
Yeah. The NSA is all over your
camera. They're all over my computer.
So you want to do the beer question or the viral
question? Yeah, let's do the beer question. So wait, so what's...
Okay, so I'm gonna basically tell you what the question was.
Okay.
like I'm setting up the stage for it.
Yeah, tell me what you said. I want to hear where
no, okay. So basically this is a... I don't want to disclose the name because I don't want to disqualify this episode, or just like sue me personally because I have an NDA with them, maybe or not. I don't know if I signed it or not. I hope I didn't.
I also like that here in Israel you can kind of like just.
I don't sign NDAs. I don't sign NDAs usually. Like it will be like a very unique situation where I do. It's because you meet startups, so you have to sign an NDA, which basically doesn't let you work with any company in our category.
Yeah,
and then you sign it.
One of them.
No, and they give like this amorphic ideas, like we want to do a product that you can share photos with. Like, come on, dude. Yeah. Like what the fuck? No, that's like everything now. Anyway, so basically this is a beverage this is like a very urban beer in its setting. it became very popular. Like it came from like a shady background because the brand kind of died out,
Okay.
and they managed to bring it back mostly in Tel Aviv for a while. It's like I think it's a strong beer now. I think it's like a strong beer. I just want to say what it is, but I won't. And now they kind of want to penetrate other markets, which is like in other big cities in Israel as well. We have some other big cities
Gotta
in
just
Israel.
penetrate the markets.
You've got to penetrate them.
You gotta take it out to dinner,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you gotta just penetrate that market.
Uh,
Deep penetrate that market.
Yeah, if there's like consent on both sides.
Oh, of course, yeah. Let's keep this podcast as.
Yeah, this podcast is not. We're not that kind of marketers.
We don't just penetrate without permission.
Yeah. Anyway, so they basically said like, hey, what would you do to bring this brand? And because it's such an urban brand, urban. Okay, yeah, my Israeli accent is like fucking me up.
It's leaking in.
It's leaking in. So basically, my first thing I said, first of all, I would do two things. First of all, I would find actually like spots that young people, students, 20-something-year-old, like hang around with. So I would start like with around universities, and I would basically just like take a food truck, which is like very cool and hip and still happening.
Mm-hmm.
I would just go to that place and I would basically hand out beer and food. And I would basically, first of all, I would do a few things. First, I would create this scene around me. I would just move the food truck every day to a different location in that area for like, I don't know, for a month or like 2 weeks.
Okay.
I would kind of do pop-ups everywhere. That's the first thing. And I would hand out like the free beer and like with a crazy logo and everything.
What's the general vibe of the beer? Like, who are they looking to?
So
approach?
So their main audience here in Tel Aviv is like hipsters.
Okay.
And that's actually been working pretty well for them because it's like going up. It actually has a good diffusion to
Yeah, it's like a thing where people turn around and go, oh, hipsters are into it. It's going to be mainstream at one point.
Yeah, and it actually worked so far. So I basically said like you should do the food truck thing. You go there, you give up free like kind of hot dogs, food, whatever, meat, or something also by the way vegetarian because hipsters are also
hipsters.
like
Vegan.
Yeah, vegan hipsters. That's a thing.
That's a thing.
That's a thing now.
That's the thing, apparently.
Yeah. And I would actually create and I would also kind of go and look into locations that are Instagram worthy, or I would actually bring something that is Instagram worthy. Now, I don't know if we discussed this together, but I think that now when you design a location, a bar or a store, you have to think about Instagram. So if you go now in Tel Aviv, there's a lot of places that have like neon signs with like inspirational quotes, like this is the sign you were looking for. They have this.
For people that just take it and put it.
Yeah, because it's something that is like worth taking a photo from.
Yeah, they do that in the labs or whatever it's called.
Yeah, they're looking.
In like Mindspace and stuff.
Yeah, they actually design it to be really well Instagram because that's how people share stuff.
Yeah.
So I would do these two things. I would have a hashtag, and I would I would either like get people to, every time I gave someone a beer, I would take a photo of them and post it, or just tag them.
Okay, so
I would actually have the Instagram account, like somebody with that beer Instagram account
so the biggest
on a phone. Wait, let me finish, and then take it. And I would basically let other people do takeovers the whole day. Like people will be like doing shout outs for friends to the company. It's Instagram, they would tag themselves, tag a friend. And I would also kind of actually have somebody going on the Instagram and looking for people who actually took a photo in the location around it. And we just text them saying, hey, I saw you took this beautiful picture in whatever, 10 meters away. We're actually handing out free beer and burgers on the food truck. Come in, get your free burgers and beer. And I would spend like a month doing that in that area. That's like my initial thought.
Okay, so if we're so for me, it kind of goes like this. If I'm looking at hipsters, anyways, I would say that you go artists, and then I would say that you basically after you go artists, I would turn around and go, all right, students.
What
and
does
I
it
would
mean
try.
to artist?
I think that there's a lot of like cities outside of Tel Aviv, outside the hipster area, which again, this translates to anywhere in the world, where you go a little bit outside, and all of a sudden you start hitting people who are dealing with artistries, whether it's they're painters, they're street artists, they're graphic designers, they are musicians, these types of people who are, again, these are the people that people look up to. Like you're looking up to these people also on social. Forget that. On social, they're the ones with the cool accounts. They're the ones that people want to look at and have the best content.
The movers and shakers.
The shakers and movers and the breakers. They are they're the ones you're following. So I would kind of aim out for that, and then I would kind of go. I think that there's. I think if I'm going to hipsters and then I go to artists, I would turn around and try to say like every person has something inside of them that's creative, something that's artistic, something that's unique, something that's special, right? Because like when you look at a hipster and you turn around, they're basically hipsters are basically trendsetters. Or even better, they're more like fashionistas in some way. What they're looking at the things that kind of went out of style. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but this is the way I see it. They look at the things that kind of went out of style, and then they try to bring it back as cool. And, they bring some jacket that looked like shit on my dad, and they put it on, and all of a sudden, like, hey, look at how cool this is. This is like something that this would be considered lame today, and I'm going to make it cool. And then you look at the designers and these graphic people, and they're kind of right in the right direction. I think that they're all people who are trying to be unique. There are people who are thriving to be unique. I think that it might also be interesting to try to turn around and say, what if you do some sort of a challenge on the food truck where people who want to get the free beer actually have to show their unique side or talk about something cool that they've done. I would actually do a voting system where people could actually use polling to turn around and say, should they get a free beer or not? Or should they win a prize or something?
But don't you think the polling system would be like, should they get a beer and then you wait like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get your beer?
I'm guessing you'd have to fake a little percentage of it, or you would basically start having judges there. Do a live stream of judges there.
Or maybe do like an action where people say, okay, everybody who's around, go to your Instagrams, go to our story. Every person's going to go in, we're going to ask, is it beer worthy or not? And you're going to have to poll. And you kind of engage the audience.
If the prize,
and you create like this small community
if the prize
around
is not a beer, if the prize is not a beer, you can pretty much give a beer to every person who votes on one of the people who should win the prize. Right?
So I would
actually think it'd be really funny to do a situation where, as you walk up the ramp, like let's say you do a little ramp in front of the food truck so people can get up to the right level kind of thing. So you have a ramp, you get your food, and then you go off to the side, and there's like a little stage, and there are 3 people there sitting. And the guy standing there with a taco, and it says, "So what have you done that's creative, right, lately?" And then the person's just standing there like, "I drew this during class," and be like, "Okay, you could have one." One of my favorite ads. I have not found this online, and it's one of my favorite ads
because it's fake.
No, it was fantastic. It was an ad for Cherry Coca-Cola, I think it was, and they had this hole in a construction site. It's stuck in my brain. So there's a hole in a construction site. Someone sticks, this young guy kind of walks by the construction site. Oh, people walking by because no one cares in New York. And some college student or whatever sticks his head through the hole, and he goes in, and some huge mafia guy grabs him by the shirt and pulls him in. And then a little mafia guy comes and goes, "Hey kid, kind of curious, aren't you?" And then the guy is like, "Oh shit!" And then all of a sudden he goes, "Here you go," and he gives him a Cherry Coca-Cola, and he's like, "For the curious." And then all of a sudden, it was like a really cool thing. So I kind of think it would be really funny to have a situation where people go up and they're like, "Oh, I got a free taco!" And then they go into a room, and it's like there are 3 judges going, "So what creative have you done lately? What makes you unique?"
Yeah.
Kind of put them on the spot.
Yeah, but that's a video ad, man. That's not a...
No, but I'm saying that would be the run a campaign to do after. I always see these things as, okay.
I would do fun engagement things on the spot, but like I would just find, because it has to be quick. Because like first of all, think about this. You're thinking about these people who kind of are very brave, but think about...
First of all these different things, what you just said right now, it's a very limited amount of people, right? How many people will they have per day?
Out of the university?
Even if it's out of the university, yeah. Even if it's out of the university. So let's say they have 1,000, 5,000?
You can get 2,000.
Let's say they have 2,000 people.
Okay.
That's not the impact the beer company is really looking to make.
No, but I think... Okay, so...
So they go and they talk about it with some people. Some of them do stories. That's great. But
okay, so
isn't the concept to create some sort of material you can pull out later? Like McDonald's is doing this with that Scream for ice cream. Yeah, but you know what? Which is horrible, by the way.
Okay, so you know
this like really pisses me off. Scream for ice cream, like disturb everyone.
For me, that's an amazing example how you fuck up as a new
I get that.
As a brand. Because I'll tell you what, I think the old version of advertising would be, oh, we'll do a cool video of this afterwards. And that's what people are like. That's what like advertising agencies have done for so long. Like you do a campaign nobody actually heard of, but the video will show 5,000 people from across the country.
No, but that. No, so where are you going to go with like 5,000 people?
No, but it's not that. First of all, because if you do this and it's in orbit and it's catching up and you do this is viral. This is actually this is real social media as a brand. because you're creating this live event, you're bringing people into it, you're engaging and you're using social media to enhance that experience. And you know that basically them getting that experience and you resonate that through your social media, that's the core business, not the video you're going to put out after. You can put it like the.
So then I feel like there needs to be so much more depth to the food truck. Like for example, you have to get like
it has to be the way it's designed. It has to be the way you service. It has to be the experience that you
maybe
provide.
the food.
Yeah,
maybe there should be flowers on top of that taco or whatever it is.
So maybe I was not clear enough at the beginning. It can't be just like a regular truck handing out hot dogs. It has to be like a theme-based truck, which feels like either very New Yorkish or very Brooklyn kind of thing, or very urban. It has to be something that feels out of the ordinary for them, that they would feel like, somebody brought this culture in. So, for example, if you go to, have you ever been to the Bellboy, which is like a cocktail bar in Israel? So
it's
they have this
speakeasy. If you don't know.
So they have like this from A to Z. It's branded so well. The bathroom is branded, the music, the vibe, the people are and that experience. That's the thing.
Yeah, but with a food truck, you're not going to get that.
Sure
so theoretically, the way you know what? I have one for you.
Think about the food. Have you ever been to Truck Deluxe, for example?
Action Bronson. Action Bronson did like a faot. Like he did like actual like what is that called?
Live shows.
He did like an actual live show, and right before the live show, he's actually working on a food truck, giving out people because he understands food. He was like a chef or something.
Yeah.
So there's like this play on the fact of like music, culture, food kind of thing, right? Artistry, like that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool to like go in that way. If it's just Brooklyn or California style, it's more California, by the way. The food truck and like things, kind of like those tacos or those but Cuban sandwiches and stuff like that, which was like a big trending thing there. Okay. But anyways, if you go for that kind of direction, yeah. By the way, yeah. Anyways, the ones in California have like beautiful food. The ones that I've had in New York has been like shit.
Yeah, but that's what I want to give them actually.
No, don't give me shit.
No, but it's not.
Get like some decent tacos.
No, but it's like eating hot dogs outside. You want to get the nastiest hot dog possible.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You do.
No, you want it to be the most unhealthy hot dog you've ever had, but you don't want it to be something where you see this like metal can like being opened up with Cheez Whiz that they throw in there.
But that's actually what's working so well for like Eyal Shani and his non shit and all that. It's like I don't
know, if someone shows me a video of Eyal Shani right before he like makes his fancy restaurant, he opens up a can of like Cheez Whiz, I'm gonna be really bummed.
But you know what? I'm fucking sure that someone's gonna do it with Cheez Whiz. It's gonna be like the hipsterest trendy in the world.
No, there are people who've taken like Twinkies and made them into elegant like meals and whatever. I've seen that and they
think about this fucking thing where he takes like the leftover of the pita and he puts like the cheapest chocolate, like chocolate shacha or whatever in Israel. And he sells it back to you for like 15 shekels. This is like trash-worthy thing. In every like shawarma place, they will throw that shit away. And he's like reselling it to you.
Yeah, but there's a very big culture of using every part of your food and stuff like that. I'm not talking about it not here, but in the rest of the world, there's like they have the whole, what is it called? Whole animal restaurants. Where you go and you don't know this? This is kind of like a thing. So like restaurants will pride themselves.
Everything we do is like a whole.
Oh yeah, that's just one meal for you guys.
Yeah.
No, but the idea is that they have like this thing where they kind of like they get one cow, and they use every single part of it to produce everything that they can produce out of it, to kind of show that they're not wasteful and they're trying to be good for.
I love it. Like that's the weirdest way to show that you're ecological.
Right, it's like no. Most of the time, you're getting. Let's say you go and you get wings. You get like a package of like 20 wings. That's 10 chickens. Thank God I did that math. Wink.
Wing.
But it's wink. But it's like 10 chickens. That's kind of like nuts to think of like 10 chickens just so you can have 10 wings. Like 20 wings. Sorry.
Well, I'm actually if you go to that math and you suddenly care about how many dead animals you have, you shouldn't eat meat at all.
No, I'm cool with like the whole thing is like they're showing you like the industry and they're saying the industry is like populated where they have like so many animals that are just produced to be killed and it's all this like shit just so you can have one piece of meat that's only exists on one cow and you want to have 20 of those at your barbecue. It's like stupid stuff. But then they show you like a farm in France and they're like they have like 3 cows and they're like we raise these and then we make the meat and we give it out and sell it and I'm like I can live with that. That's not so bad. There was a documentary about foie gras, and they kind of like showed you the industry in America, and they showed like these crappy places where they're force feeding ducks.
I have to tell you that with everything that comes to eating meat, I eat meat, But it's hard to justify that shit. As you go by...
No, I don't have any problem justifying it. You were hungry. You had nothing to eat. Caveman shit.
No.
You went and you killed whatever you could.
No.
People eat rats in Indonesia. I'd eat a rat if I was fucking hungry.
No, I'm not going to go into it because I feel like it's a deeper and not like a marketing topic I want to tackle.
I'm just saying.
And it's like one of the audiences that I'm most afraid of.
Vegans?
Yeah, I'm scared of.
You're really scared of audiences. All of you need to be nicer to Roy when you see him in the street.
Right.
But I don't know what you guys are doing wrong. I don't care about any of you.
I'll tell you why.
It makes no sense. I'm just going to
say. I'll tell you why. Because I think the most important thing is to see how people react to things. I think it's the most important thing in the world.
To see how people react to things?
Yeah. And
why do you care? Like, in the end, if they don't react correctly to something that you said, then
I have to change my marketing strategy.
No, that's so wrong, man. Dude, like, it's maybe. Well, but I think as a person, I don't care. For me, this podcast, I'm being mostly just a person. For the most part, I mean, I talk about marketing stuff anyways with people. Just they don't usually care.
No, but you know what? I'll tell you what. I feel that in the past year I have a lot of conversation where I.
By the way, comedians, you watch comedians, you love comedians. That's what they do.
Yeah, but I don't know why.
I did this thing on my story the other day. There's like this Israeli like children's guy. I don't know what you call it. Like he just goes up on television and is like, "Hey kids," that kind, one of those guys. I'm saying for illegal reasons. Yeah. You can muffle that. Allegedly, some guy who's like he has a huge deal for cocaine. Takes a lot of cocaine.
I was 100% sure he was a pedophile for a while.
Oh really? It didn't even matter to me. Here's what I said. So I heard this. My wife was like, "Did you hear that this guy that our daughter's been watching on television apparently does a whole bunch of cocaine?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Oh, all the parents are talking about it." And I said, "Who gives a crap? Like, literally, this is the guy I put my child in front of so that I can go do whatever the hell I want to." This is the worst moments of my life. It's like the ones where I'm like, I need a break from you existing. Come sit and watch this person. If he's not entertaining enough, I give him the cocaine. I need him to dance. Dance, puppet, dance. That's what I need him to do, entertain her so I can go and do whatever I need to do in the kitchen or go and, I don't know, use the bathroom for a second. This is what I need. So I don't care if he's on cocaine. So I did this story and I put it on my Instagram, and parents, like, they were so happy. No, they were so happy. No one was against me. They were like, "Oh, that's a funny perspective. That's a really good thing."
It's so funny because you'll be like, "Oh, and he did drugs and it's a bad thing. Like, this is so horrible." And then you like put the Doors on or you put like Zeppelin on, and you're like, "Dude, like what do you think?"
No, it's like I said, until he's playing a song where he's like, "Kids, come sniff some white powder. We're gonna ride."
I'm actually more worried about the time they spend watching him on TV, even being nice. But in general, the time they spend, because he's eating, my main issue with him is not the cocaine. No, that his material is like super idiotic.
Oh, it's really bad. It's really bad. His material, like, I have my daughter talking to me about I'm confused. I'm doing bad stuff, and I'm like, no, what? No, you're not. You know exactly what you're doing. Stop doing that. And she's like, that's part of his song. I'm confused. I do this, and then she'll come up to people in the street.
I love it because old people can resonate with.
Yeah, that's right. That is over.
I'm confused.
I touched your boob. Sorry, waitress. My hand. It doesn't work the way it used to.
Old people are the worst.
No, but
I just want to be old so I can do whatever I want.
I think you feel comfortable saying that because none of our audience are after that age where the old people. I was trying to explain this to my grandparents. I was like, I'm doing a podcast. She's like, what's a podcast? I was like, it's like radio, but
it's like the talkies. It's like the talkies, Grandma.
It's like radio exactly if it's been recorded and put online in a different way. Right. And she was like, "Oh, well, that's good. You do your radio show."
Put it on my gramophone when you walk in.
Yeah, could you put this on the?
Yeah, they have a cassette for it.
They actually listen to a lot of radio in America. They listen to a lot of that stuff, and she's like, "Do you know what I learned today from the radio?" And I'm like, "Oh God, Grandma."
Yeah, but it's the same thing, just like fucking listening to a podcast. It's exactly.
I think that podcasts just get to be a lot more chill.
Yeah, but
because the radio is very straight.
Because you can say fuck on the podcast. Because you can.
I think you can.
Talk about a drug addict.
I'll tell you what it is. My brother said to me,
"Are we still talking about the beer thing?" Because I think we kind of.
I think we left it. I don't know where we went with it.
Wait, but what was the advice?
Oh, what was the advice? Well, I think that so we're at the point where we kind of turn around and saying, is it doing something
creatives?
For...
You said go with the creatives. Go with the
I would I would think that you could create all this amazing material based off the artisans and trying to like continuously go. Actually, and by the way, here's the thing: you're kind of turning around to me, and you said this before also, which is like shitty for me because I know it's true that I kind of jumped to the commercial first.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because in my head, all the best materials are video.
Yeah, but that's
but I want to make it very clear that place that you're talking about right now, the way that they got that group to be so into them was because of video.
no. That's 100% not true.
That's their.
I want
their
to tell.
commercials.
I can't tell fucking the story now. But no, those are the commercials of the old brand where they actually failed. The way they build their brand now is like from the bottom up.
They went to people like.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were bottom up.
Interesting.
They sponsored like small event, like community events for hipsters in Tel Aviv. They sponsored like small live shows in different places.
That sounds like something Mexican.
No.
Sorry,
no.
that sounded.
So they started from the ground up, and you know what? I think that Okay, so money in advertising and for brands right now can be like the crunches that you use. Crunches, yeah.
No, crunches.
Crunches, sorry.
That's it.
Oh yeah. But
Crunches sound delicious, by the way.
yeah, it does sound delicious. It is delicious. I can't.
There actually is a thing that says if you rate like crispy.
Wait,
or
no,
crunchy.
wait. Let's focus. We're over 40 minutes.
Sorry. Oh my God! Holy crap!
It's very hard to justify this, and
Yeah.
we've been talking about like this drag everything again. Anyway, so you know what? This is perfect. It's getting close circle with like narratives and new branding, because branding is doing that video. Narrative is creating that experience in that live moment where people come in and you look at. I want to give them the best experience right now. Social media.
Okay, I'm just thinking
and
about
engage.
the story of it. That's what I'm thinking about.
Okay, but
Like, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be doing these events just so you can
wait,
kind of
but
have
no,
stories.
but what basically what you want to do is you want to create this 2,000, 3,000 people who went through that experience for the first day, 3,000 people going to experience that another day, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's how you actually build like a loyal audience versus an advertisement that actually nobody really cares about. You don't like. These days, you don't even remember who did the advertising. You remember like the creatives, maybe. You don't remember the advertisement anymore. Nobody fucking cares. Like I think the most.
No, I agree with you. Like the first time I actually enjoyed a beer was after a marathon. They were giving out Carlsberg for free or something like that.
Amazing. So the actual narrative is the new branding thing. Is actually this is like my brain going up. Okay, so this is actually this because you don't say like how am I going to scale that up? You basically say I want to create this experience for this amount of people, real time. This is what I actually do. I'm going to give you like the most amazing fun experience that I can do right now. It's going to be unique to what you have. You usually don't have the food truck. You don't have the free beer, and that's your narrative because this is you as a brand saying I'm young. I'm urban because you do what an urban brand would do. Food trucks, live things, on-the-spot engagement. The old way is like, I'm going to do a TV ad for this. I'm going to do a YouTube pre-roll versus this is the moment. Like Instagram stories, Snapchat, it's all focused on one thing. What are you doing right now in this moment? How are you experiencing your moment? How do you translate your emotional experience into something that is instant? That's the core of it.
It's more real. That's what it is.
And that's the narrative of the brand. And
look at that. You went full circle. We
I
got to stop
full
now.
Circle.
I want to go to the next question, but we don't have time.
I wish we had a bell
circle.
where every time we're in the conversation we go full circle, we're like ding, 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 kind of thing. And you just been full circle, my friend.
Son of a...
I love it how you son of a... Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, you're not sure if I can say that. Because I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't care.
So you saw. So that,
I want hate
so
mail.
that's what
Send me
narrative.
hate mail.
So that's what narrative is. The new branding is all fucking about. Boom. I got it. I can't say boom. I just noticed that my boom is not exciting. It's
boom.
not like a. It's not like case made. It's more of like a, I made a boom.
It's like I made a boom boom.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my spiel, man. That's the thing.
God damn. So basically, it's just coming up with a whole bunch of interesting things you can do on the fly, and then just having someone document on Instagram stories, and just do enough that you have.
No, it's not just. It's just the whole experience thing. It's a whole experience.
Yeah, but thinking about the fact that you need to do it consistently means that you should probably have lots of little bit experiences.
Yeah, but so
you know what? The burger place, Sasu, does it very nicely with their social. So they have an ongoing experience, but their videos were mostly about like people coming to order the burgers and what kind of people just sitting down.
But that's
a milkshake.
That's what people want to see. People want to get stories more than ever. Instagram stories or real stories, doesn't matter. but you just want to see the real people. You don't want to see the advertising anymore. Like I think that if you put in you know what? I think that if a restaurant would put in like a hyperloop camera kind of thing, and watch people go in and out for like 24 hours and post that to their stories, that would work.
I think it's more about having that Walmart woman scream at the register and have that recording. But yeah,
that would be even
that's way better.
That would be better. You know what? I would do a hyperloop where every 10 seconds somebody fucks up. You actually send a waiter to spill drinks on somebody.
Nice.
And that's the viral thing out of it, by the way.
That's interesting.
And then you have this one character that goes back all the time, which is like kind of out, like hyperloop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that person goes in and out of the story. It's like 24 hours, but there's a lot of engagement with that one character, and you start building their story towards the entire social media thing.
Interesting. This also very much connects to what the Hundreds, the urban clothing brand from California, did in the beginning, which was just to have their employees just use the stories. And in the beginning, I kind of felt like, wow, this is kind of stupid. They don't know what they're doing. Only Bobby 100, the guy who, that was his thing. His real name's Bobby something else. But, generally, he was the only one who really knew how to use it because his life was interesting as hell. And all the other people were kind of just, slumming it. But in the end, it became fun to watch.
So I think the human experience and the real deal. And did we ever talk? Can we do the 3 minutes more about the future of social and how I see social and VR coming to play in the next 10 years?
I like how right now I get the option to go, no, and that's it. So join us next week. No, sorry.
So it's a very long episode. We want to do shorter ones, but you're already here, so kind of fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you could have said no.
Yeah, you could have stopped at 30 or pause it. You know what? Split this to 2 days.
So this is a whole 48 hours marathon of a podcast, right? Gold. Every episode will be 2 days long. We're going to have Team First. Good done. We're not going to have Team First.
People will come guest visit us and bring us food.
Yeah, like in Thailand. Anyway, so I think that in the future what we're going to see is that you're going to have people actually living their lives with goggles, whatever, broadcasting what they're actually doing and how they're enjoying their life. And other people will sit down at home with a VR and they would live their lives through an influencer's eyes. Because that's what I think people really want to do. They want to experience somebody else's experience who's better, more successful, get behind the scenes access, whatever that they don't get. That's a very dark future in my head.
No, it's very Black Mirror. You get that.
Yeah,
but
if you think about Wall, you remember
I agree with you that that's where we would want to go naturally.
No,
but I think that there's no way we're getting there.
I think 10 years you're going to see.
There's no way. No, there's no way.
So this is recorded now, Jonathan.
No. I'll tell you why.
We can actually see this.
I'll tell you why. Because with the stuff that Apple, Facebook, and all these companies are doing, even the apps now are doing right now, is that there's this huge push for we need to get away from these things as fast as possible.
I don't believe that shit.
No. The reason why Apple's doing that new thing in their new update where you can limit the amount of time that you're doing your stuff is not because they give a shit about us. It's because they give a shit about them. Because they know that we're going to start suing them when we start seeing that our children are being born stupider and stupider, which has to do with all kinds of different things that have to do with the phone.
I think...
And this is not for me. I'm not one of those people who say keep your kids away from screens. Not at all.
I think Apple is playing the righteous game.
No. I think they're preparing. They're preparing to get lawsuits.
I think
look at Facebook right now. Look at Facebook and where they are.
It's a whole different thing. But Apple is basically playing off whatever other companies are getting in trouble with. So now it's the whole privacy thing and how they go to crazy lengths to do the privacy thing. Which I think companies are getting massively wrong, but that's a different conversation. And every time Facebook or another major brand will fuck up, it will be the first one. These days, this is the new Apple, which is kind of shitty, would go in and say, hey, but we don't do that. And that's...
I think that right now the reason they're doing this... And
they're limiting it because it's a popular parents' talk.
No, I get what you're saying, and I also thought that in the beginning. But now when I'm looking at the stuff, I'm saying they're limiting it to protect themselves legally.
No, listen.
Because it's not
only people who will sue them are old people.
Do you believe? No. Let me put it like this. Do you believe that technology has a effect on the human mind?
Of course it does.
Okay. Do you believe that it has a negative effect on children?
Yeah, but I'm old.
1 second. It doesn't matter. Do you believe? I'm not saying again. If you let your kid hold a phone, right?
Grandma, they thought the Beatles were dragging.
That's fine, but it's not about that. This is even more messed up than that. It goes as simple as this. I sat with this scientist actually who checks this whole thing about the development of human minds and what's the effect of phones and technology on children. And she actually said that in the simplest version of this, the fact that we have adapted this culture of we want to make everything easier. So you press a button and a beer appears, rather than you having to prepare beer or you having to do something, right, where there was steps to it. That part of our brain is shrinking every generation.
Right.
And what's going to end up happening, and it gets passed down to your kids. So if yours is shrunk by 50%, let's just say, then your kid starts from that 50%, it goes lower, right? So even in that sense, our kids are losing the part of their brain that knows how to do long or have patience to create long process stuff. And then you have like the other stuff where it's like blue light at night actually damages your white matter, like gray matter, or whatever. No, all these things. Wait, all these things. We kind of know these scientific things. Do I not let my kid watch television? Fuck no. My kid plays fucking Nintendo Switch. He's on the phone. He's doing FaceTime shit. We do all that shit. In my opinion, you have to balance that stuff out. I don't want my kid to be stupid. I know someone who doesn't let their kid watch any screens. This kid's going to go to first grade or kindergarten. They're going to be like, Spider-Man. He's going to go, what's Spider-Man? And then one of the kids is going to lynch, like 5 kids are going to lynch him. They're just going to lynch him.
Have you seen the latest Chris Rock? I've been to the Chris Rock show.
I was a Chris Rock show.
Which is
I feel like he was old. I don't know.
Yeah, but
he got older.
wasn't. But he said the thing about bullies. You have to have bullies, because that's how Facebook was. Because somebody hit Mark Zuckerberg with a book on his face.
And then boom, he was like, Facebook.
So you know what? I think the problem with this discussion is that like sometimes it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, because when your grandparents said the Beatles are dragging you down, or when CBS censored Elvis' hips because they felt like he was so you just can't find it. What I actually do think, by the way, is that each generation is getting dumber. And this, if you look at the classic, I come from the music background, so
you're saying we're evolving to something else. You're not saying that we're becoming worse.
No,
I'm saying we're
deteriorating.
So then, what the fuck, man? We're not going to do that. No way. Someone's going to end up suing. Someone's going to end up suing.
Listen. The way I see this, and this is like very dark. I'm a dark person, like in nature. Not.
He wears all black.
Yeah.
Just.
Like every species will kind of
die off.
Yeah. And I think that there might be two things happening. Either this is us walking to our demise with the world, like the actual Earth, dying out on us, or this is going to be an evolution of how we communicate or how we see things. Because on the other hand, I think this generation has created more entrepreneurs, has created more new stuff. And it's actually, think about how technology advanced, and technology isn't advancing only because of old people.
Yeah, but these generation, the people who are actually doing those things are the people who were raised like on the line between technology.
Yeah, but you know what? That was always the thing.
I like. By the way, in my head, I'm imagining like a character from Rick and Morty, kind of walking in the future, walking up to like a lion and go, "Ooh, pretty cat," and then just eats him like ferociously.
Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
No, I don't think so.
You should watch it. This is like basically how the people would be like 30 years or whatever, and it showed so many scenes that were actually later on in the Trump administration, like with the campaign thing, you would actually see similar scenes happening in the media, and everyone was joking about it. Like there's a part in the movie where somebody goes to jail and he walks into.
I believe that's, by the way, that's some of the best marketing stuff is. It's just when you have something funny and then because it's based on reality and it's going to end up happening.
Yeah, and it's a bad news for everybody. Anyway, I think we're almost an hour long, which is like twice as much as we wanted to have.
Sorry,
this episode to be with this lousy audio quality that's going to be solved by the next episode, thanks to surprise sponsor, and that's it for today. I'm going to cut us off.
Yeah, we're ending with that.
We love
Dark
you. World, everybody's going to die.
Yeah, that we're very good at this, ending on a good note.
Like we know how to resonate with people. We do marketing, so everybody's going to die.
Good night. No, but if you like the podcast, let us know. If you have any comments, let us know. Please, again, like, subscribe. I don't know what else you could possibly do with the podcast. Make it your national anthem. I don't know. But just go on.
Yeah, this is like an hour-long national anthem.
Yeah, just go with it.
Wait, I want to do with the same thing last time. If there's only one person in the world you think in your life that will enjoy or get a benefit from listening to us jabbing in the last hour, please share the podcast with them, but only if it gives value. The other thing you can do is you can share it with a person that you actually kind of hate.
And you're like,
And
there's an amazing thing in here you need to hear.
Yeah.
I don't remember what second it's on.
You should take it's in about 52 minutes long, but you should give them this like in a low quality streaming, so you have to listen to the whole thing because if not, it kind of cuts off. And
No, just don't tell them where it was. But there was this thing where they mentioned their name, and then just
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
Somewhere in the middle.
somewhere in the middle.
So subscribe, review, share, praise, share fan art. I want to have fan art. Anyway, thank you so much for listening for this whole 56 and 5 seconds episode. It's longer now. Anyway, so thank you so much. Bye.